Welcome to the Sussman Shapiro pregame show on GameDay, live on theday.com from Waterford High School for the ECC semifinals, where 3-seed Woodstock Academy takes on 2-seed New London, and they'll go at it in semifinal number 1. And hello, everyone. I'm Mark Brown alongside Casey O'Neill as we get ready for this one. And, of course, it's a rematch of last year's semifinal matchup that was taken by New London. But Woodstock went on to win maybe bigger and better things. They won a state championship. Now they've gone at it. They haven't gone at it at all this year. So what should we really expect out of tonight's matchup?
Well, it's funny because when you look at these two teams, only one of them is a defending state champion, and it's not the team that has the most championship history, which is New London. It's Woodstock. So in this game, you're talking about two champions, a rich championship tradition from New London and a defending championship in Woodstock, which means you've got two teams who would consider this to be a giant disappointment if they weren't playing for the ECC championship on Friday. So what I expect today is to see a very gritty defensive battle and two very different contrasts in styles.
And we'll definitely be looking for that. We're going to join now with a third member of our broadcast crew, Dave Edgecombe, who's going to tell us some other ways that you guys can get involved in today's broadcast.
Thanks, Mark. I'm alongside Jessica Hopper, the day's social media coordinator, and she's going to clue you in on how you guys can stay in touch with the game throughout both games.
Tonight you can add to the conversation on social media using the hashtag GameDayCT. You can also follow the day on Twitter and Instagram at TheDayCT, all right?
And make sure to bring us your best stuff. We'll be updating those throughout both games. Mark, Casey?
All right, thanks very much, Dave. A lot of great talent on both sides, but we're going to take a look now at our player to watch. First for Woodstock, a lot of people want to talk about Chris Lowry, and we will, but there's a big man that's come on strong. Adam Converse is their leading scorer.
Yeah, you know, Converse has really shown a presence down in the low post. He was very versatile. He can step out, got great hands and great feet for a big man. He can pass, he can distribute. When he steps up and provides them and scoring goes through them, they're a much different team.
And as for New London, Colin Sawyer is coming off a 37-point quarterfinal performance, and he's our player to watch for the Whalers.
Yeah, we saw him against NFA, and he had a really disappointing performance against NFA. Never really got into the flow of things, but he's a real competitor. He can shoot from the outside. He can get to the basket, and when he's scoring like he did in that last game, it puts New London on an entirely different level. It is crucial for them to get him going early, because when he's in the scoring flow, it opens up everything for everybody else.
Well, Woodstock senior guard Trent Peters may look a lot younger than he is, and opponents quickly regret underestimating this dangerous three-point shooter.
I knew growing up that as soon as my teammates started passing me in height that I had to get good at something, and that was shooting.
He looks like a choir boy. He looks like he's about 14 years old. And, you know, I'm calling college coaches and telling them about this guy, and they look at him and they say, well, he's 14 years old. And I said, no, this is a 17-year-old. This is a kid that's going to grow. He's going to be 6'2" in the next 2 years.
Last year, knowing that I was a junior, very undersized, still kind of am. Last year I was 5'7", 120 pounds. They definitely kind of underestimated my shot, my abilities, but I think I worked that to my advantage. I knew that they would kind of lay off of me, and that gave me time to shoot.
We challenged him last year, and you were at the Sun, and when he came in the game, Trinity Catholic went after him.
I was very sick that game, so I got limited minutes. I think I played 4 or 5 minutes. I got one shot off, and it went down, thank God.
We challenged Trent Peters to get bigger, to get stronger, to get tougher, and he did all of those things.
Last year I knew that he could be an incredible player if he just got a little bit more size. He worked really hard this past summer, gained about 20 pounds, grew 3 inches, and I'm really glad to see him blossom into the great player that I knew he could be.
He's a coach on the floor. He's going to be a great coach.
I go to him for advice all the time. He sees things that I don't see all the time, and he's able to give me advice, and that's why I always feed him back the ball.
Trent's uncanny. His shot is just beautiful. And now you put him on the floor, and if you're going to cover Chris, if you're going to put a good defender on Chris, well, then you have to put a good defender on Will. You better have a third good defender, because Trent's out there, and he will light you up.
So Trent Peters, we know how young he looks, but a dangerous three-point shooter to be sure. His best friend on the team has got to be, at least on the floor, Lowry, who averages almost 9 assists a game. Something to him.
Yeah, get Lowry to the basket, kick it out to Peters for that jump shot. But, you know, we watched Peters earlier in the year against Ledyard, and the thing that stood out for me was even though he looks like he's 13 years old on the court, he's a very good athlete. We saw him go up and block a shot up above the rim. So that he's not only a three-point shooter that can step out and drain it deep, he's a very good athlete, and he plays good defense as well. So don't let the choir boy looks fool you. He can absolutely play.
And we'll see that on display. When the Sussman Shapiro pregame show returns, we'll introduce you to New London's versatile big man, Josh Maynard. This is Game Day, live on theday.com.
My name's Jay Berryman. I'm a director and I'm the head of the Workers' Compensation and Social Security divisions of Sussman Shapiro. I think that my favorite part of the job is just the intellectual challenge that still exists. And I enjoy the satisfaction that comes from doing a job well. When a client says, thank you for what you've done, that's makes it pretty rewarding, and why I'm doing this for 30 years now.
Thank you for putting MJ Sullivan Hyundai in the top 15 in the country. We've just been notified that we have won the Hyundai President's Award. We rank in the top 15 dealers nationwide for customer satisfaction, and we're the only dealer in Connecticut to win this award. Consider this: a good deal is not price alone, but it's the service you receive during and after the sale. And that's been the driving force of MJ Sullivan's for nearly 30 years. So come to the MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner in New London or at mjsullivanauto.com, and I personally guarantee you'll be satisfied.
And welcome back to the Sussman Shapiro pregame show. Game Day live on theday.com. ECC semifinals tonight. Later on, NFA and Ledyard, but first Woodstock Academy and New London. Senior Josh Maynard plays center for the Whalers, but he can dribble and run the floor like a guard. And look out when he pulls up from beyond the arc.
I had a growth spurt like a couple years ago, so before then, yeah, I played like guard. And as a little kid, though, I was big, so I played center. So, you know, I kind of played guard and center.
That's a good by Josh Maynard. Josh has the ability to score inside around the basket, and he also has the ability to step out beyond the three-point line and knock down shots. And, you know, he's a very capable player of doing both of those things. So at times it does create matchup problems for other teams.
Well, I've always worked on my shot because my dad wasn't expecting me to get this tall. So he always made me, you know, like dribble the ball and learn how to shoot and pass and all that.
Yeah, with his size and having the ability to step out and take the three-pointer does give us an added dimension.
They're always focused on Seth and Colin, and then sometimes I'll pop out and make a three, and a lot of people are surprised. I grew up in Waterford. I still live in Waterford. I go to the magnet school in New London. I transferred there my sophomore year. I just I don't know. I didn't really like it at Waterford. I didn't really fit in well, and you know, I wanted a new start, so transferred here, and it's been great, man. Like, it's probably the best decision of my life so far, really. I mean, you know, I love these guys and my team and the people I go to school with. It's just, it's good.
So it's nice, Casey, that Josh Maynard has those skills on the perimeter and all that, but the Whalers are going to need him, as well as Devontae Robinson, to match up with Converse and McGinn, that tough front line of Woodstock.
Yeah, you know, Maynard, I think part of him growing from a guard body into more of a forwards body, what happened is he got comfortable on the perimeter. And sometimes when you're at this level in particular, you need to play down low and kind of get gritty, and he can get lost sometimes drifting out to the perimeter where he's comfortable. Tonight, they're going to need his size. They're going to need him to get down and do battle with the bigs, and that's not something that he always enjoys doing. I thought it was great where he said, you know, he didn't feel comfortable at Waterford. He came to New London and he felt comfortable here. It made sense for him. Well, what's ironic is they're asking him tonight to do the thing he's most uncomfortable doing.
So we'll be watching to see how he stacks up. A huge night of high school basketball on tap coming up. Woodstock Academy versus New London in semifinal number 1 of the ECC tournament. Live on Game Day on theday.com.
The future is now. I am in control of my next 4 years.
Education is our passport to the future.
Live the life you imagine. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going.
This is my classroom.
This is my classroom.
This is our classroom.
Education is the future.
Do something remarkable.
I can be myself.
Welcome to the next 4 years.
Hi, I'm Mark Nickerson, your local Geico agent. No matter where you live or work in Eastern Connecticut, my local Geico office is nearby to save you money. Whether you're in Old Saybrook, Niantic, Norwich, Willimantic, Westerly, Mystic, or near our beautiful new office in Waterford, Geico is just around the corner from you. Call my local Geico office and start your policy right over the phone. Call Geico, where savings is our first policy.
The following is a presentation of The Day.
The Final Four is here of the Eastern Connecticut Conference. It's the league semifinals. Who will win the title? Time-honored New London, despite its late season struggles? Woodstock, which found it easier to win a state championship last season than an ECC title. Ledyard, the team with the most wins in the league the last 2 years, but remains without an ECC or state championship. Or NFA, the league's biggest school and hottest team down the stretch. We determine the finals tonight. The madness begins. It's Game Day on theday.com. This is Game Day on theday.com. Welcome to Waterford High School for the ECC Tournament Semifinals in the first of two tonight. 3-seed Woodstock Academy versus 2-seed New London. And hello everyone, I'm Mark Brown alongside Casey O'Neill, a proud New London grad. He won't let that get in the way of his analysis tonight, that is for sure. One thing we know, we're going to have a great basketball game. We've got two teams out here right now that both know what it's like to win championships. In the form of New London, they are the defending ECC champions. And the Woodstock team, though they didn't win this title, they won a state title, and they did it with a lot of the kids that they have on this squad right now.
Yeah, they're a veteran team coming back. It was that state championship game against Trinity Catholic that vaulted Chris Lowry into the public consciousness and had his coach Greg Smith declare him the best point guard in the state of Connecticut. Now, I don't know if he's the best point guard in the state of Connecticut, but what we've seen from him indicates great floor leadership, absolutely knows where to be at all times, and a point guard can win tournaments. We see it all the way down from the NBA postseason tournament to the NCAA tournament. Great point guards make a difference, and Chris Lowry is probably the best point guard tonight. Nothing against New London's point guard, but Chris Lowry's a senior. He's been through it before, and it's all going to run through him tonight.
And as for New London, look, this is a championship that they live for. The program has obviously won state championships, many of them, but the ECC title is something they desperately want every year.
They do, and it's funny because there's something at New London. If you go into all the gyms throughout the schools in the ECC, they have ECC championship banners up on their walls because conference championships are important. You go into the New London High School gym, they only put up state championship banners, and it's sort of a bone of pride amongst the coaches in Whalerville that we only put up state championship banners. But you ask Coach Chop Parker, and he'll tell you, no, just because we put up state championship banners, that just means it's the ultimate goal. The ECC tournament is an incredibly prestigious title to win. They want to win it every year. They've been in it for 10 straight years. They've won almost all of them. And this is not something that they take lightly. They consider it to be their state championship. The road goes through New London.
A perfect 10-0 in the ECC medium, winning that division this year. Time now to take a look at the keys to the game presented by Geico. We're going to start with the Centaurs of Woodstock.
For them, it's going to start with perimeter defense. They got to get out on New London shooters, Lake and Sawyer. They got to make New London get it into the post. New London can rush through their offense sometimes. That's number one. They got to get it to Lowry and just get out of the way. He's a senior. He's a leader. Let him take advantage of mismatches. Let him get to the basket and be creative. We love creative point guards. Second chances. Converse and McGinn have to win the rebound battle. New London is going to try to make them one and done. They've got to give Woodstock second chances.
As for New London,
well, it starts with containing Chris Lowry, right? He's the premier player. The ball's going to be in his hands. He's not always a great shooter, but he's a great distributor, so they're going to have to try to see if they can match up with his quickness. It's an inexperienced New London backcourt. Post time, Woodstock has that big McGinn and Converse duo. Robinson and Barner for the Whalers must match up with them. And finally, penetration. New London's guards are quick. Can they get to the basket and get the ball out to Lake and Sawyer, and can they knock down those outside shots?
Okay, we'll look for that. Time now for the starting lineup presented by Philomena's Restaurant. Both these teams depend very heavily on those starting lineups. They've got great experience, and these guys will play heavy minutes. We start with the Centaurs of Woodstock Academy. We talked about Converse up front. We talked about Peters, the shooter, and Lowry. But Bourgeois, at only 6 feet, gets a lot done on both ends.
Yeah, he was a huge component for them last year and a big returning player this year. In our game earlier when we saw him against Ledyard, he left with an injury, and they were a completely different team with him not on the floor. He might be the best athlete, pure athlete on the floor tonight. He can do a little bit of everything.
And now we'll look at New London's starting lineup presented by Philomena's Restaurant. Smallest guy on the court is going to be Nabate Metz, but he is also a very tough guard. Colin Sawyer, we talked about his 37 points. Nick Barner in the starting lineup tonight alongside Josh Maynard up front.
Yeah, a lot of time we see Devontae Robinson in there, but this time it's going to be Nick Barner. He provides a little bit more rebounding, a little less offense traditionally. But for them, Nabate Metz, he may be the smallest guy on the floor, but he might be the most fearless as well. He does a little bit of everything. But the key to New London tonight is simple: Colin Sawyer. If Colin Sawyer scores tonight, I'm going to put the number at 16. Colin Sawyer over 16 points, the Whalers win. Colin Sawyer under 16 points, and I say the Whalers will have a very difficult time tonight.
I've written that down, by the way. We will revisit that along with the keys to the game, as always. New London is a team that obviously loves to score a lot of points. They've scored 80-plus 11 times this year. They've been over 90 5 times. Now, Woodstock Academy can score, but I'm assuming they don't want it that high.
You know, it's going to be difficult for them, and I think Coach Smith is going to have to decide, and I'm sure he already has, what number he wants to see this game played in, because this could certainly become a track meet, especially when you've got guards like Peters and Lowry who will certainly push the ball and move it around. New London wants to run all day long. But I think what Woodstock would tell you is we need to run at the right moments. Not running just for the sake of running, run when it's available, but they also need to control their tempo in particular. They might not be able to control New London's tempo, but they can certainly control their own.
That's a good point and a distinction, because Woodstock does have the athletes to run, like you said, at the right moments, and we'll see if they find those moments tonight. Now, New London's 3 losses to date have been at Stratford, at NFA, and versus Hamden. They're 18-3 on the season. Woodstock, as we got to look at some of them, they are 17-4 on the season, 7-3 in the ECC large, so it's been a tough go for them. Their losses to Ledyard twice, NFA once, and an out-of-state game against Putnam Vocational Tech in Massachusetts.
Yeah, they've struggled with some of the bigger teams. The loss for New London to Hamden was really a bad loss for them. Hamden was not a very good record-wise team coming in, but New London took them lightly, and I think Coach Parker has used that as a springboard for them, saying, what, we can't take anybody lightly. There's nobody that you can just beat on reputation. They thought they could do it to NFA, and they lost. They thought they could do it to Hamden, and they lost. On the other side of things, Woodstock might struggle, but they play hard all the time. They don't give up. So even if New London gets out to a lead in this game, Woodstock is not going to give up easily. They will come back.
Crowd starting to build here in this one. New London Whalers being introduced to the crowd. They're coached by Craig Parker. Their 18-3 record overall, number 2 seed. Parker's won 4 state championships, most recently in 2011. As for Woodstock, they're coached by Greg Smith. He's in his 6th season. And of course, they won that thrilling Class L state championship a year ago. They really did it playing mostly 5 guys. We talked about Will Bourgeois. He missed most of last season, but would have been a key contributor. Starters on that team, Lowry, McGinn, both started. Peters and Converse were 6th and 7th men. So these guys were the team, really, that won that championship last year for the Centaurs. It's time now for the national anthem.
At this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps. The flag is at the south end of the field house. One of Waterford's own, Sarah Bossetto, will honor us with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Waterford's Sarah Bassetto with the national anthem. We've had the lineups, we've had the anthem. We're about ready for the ECC semifinals to get underway. NFA and Ledyard to follow in Game 2 of this spectacular doubleheader. Both played right here at Waterford High School. Happy you could be with us here on Game Day, live on theday.com. I'm Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill. Dave Edgecombe is with us reporting from the sideline as Woodstock and New London about ready to go at it. Both of tonight's semifinals are rematches of ECC tournament semifinals from a year ago. Woodstock falling to eventual champion New London in this very moment 1 year ago. Woodstock wearing their blue road jerseys with the yellow trim, the home whites with the green and gold trim for the Whalers of New London. Jumping it up for Woodstock, John McGinn and Nick Barner for New London. And the ECC tournament is underway. Whose ball is it?
They're going to call it a jump ball. Going to redo it. Do-over right off the bat. 3 seconds, we get a do-over.
So it's still underway.
It is still
But we are going to do it over. Took a bit of the drama out of it, but here we go. More drama to come, to be sure. Actually, we've got C.J. Parker in the starting lineup as well, the coach's son. Comes off the bench quite a bit during the season, but a solid overall player. And that's in the corner to Colin Sawyer for a three. Only 13 more points to go before your guaranteed Whaler victory.
Well, two things we saw there. Woodstock came out in a 2-3 zone. New London found Sawyer, and he drained the three. That's going to be a quick way to get them out of that zone.
Bourgeois gives it up. Peters puts it in the hands of Chris Lowry. Lowry, nice entry pass inside. Oh, great passing right there. Adam Converse with the assist to the cutting Bourgeois.
Yeah, we see already Woodstock's very good at distributing the ball. If New London's going to play man-to-man, look for the Woodstock bigs to make a difference distributing.
Down low for Barner. Takes the baseline, back out for Sawyer. Oh, they've left them alone twice, and Woodstock has paid the price with back-to-back threes from Sawyer. He's got 6.
Continuing his hot start he had last game, those 30-plus points right off the bat, 2 for 2. A great sign for New London. Colin Sawyer getting off the schneid early.
Here's Lowry off the penetration move. Now it's Peters. Bourgeois on top for the 3.
Not the guy they want to see shooting threes. They have better options.
C.J. Parker to Metz. All the way across for Maynard. We talked about his skill from the perimeter. And Maynard hits a long 2. And what a start for the Whalers. Timeout Woodstock Academy. It's 8-2.
Yeah, New London 3 for 3 from the floor, but the key is 3 outside shots, the 2 threes, and just inside the arc. I think a good decision by Maynard to step in and shoot it in rhythm inside the arc. But right now, Coach Smith just wants to slow things down because when the Whalers fill it up from the outside, they are a very difficult team to beat. On the other side of things, Lowry has a definite mismatch. He's not always the biggest player, but he is definitely bigger than Metz, and I would think Woodstock is going to try to eschew those outside jump shots in favor of Lowry using his size and letting the bigs distribute.
6 feet listed for Chris Lowry, 5'6" for Nabate Metz. So we'll see what Woodstock does out of this timeout. Here is Lowry with that matchup that you spoke of. Not looking to do much yet, Lowry, as he gave it up. Now bothered by Metz. Going to the baseline and blocked by Maynard. Converse nearly had it ripped away. Now they'll reset.
Very physical, letting him play in the early going.
Pull-up jumper. Won't go for Lowry, and a rebound Maynard.
Barner did a great job that time, knocking away from Converse.
Here is Barner on the other end. Lefty shot won't go down. C.J. Parker, the offensive rebound. Maynard. Wild shot rebound to Bourgeois. At 6 feet, he averages 7 rebounds a game for the Centaurs.
Look for the defense to tighten up on both ends right now. The officials are letting them be physical.
Lowry backing it out to reset. Gets the screen from McGinn. Now the drive on Metz. And he draws the foul. That'll be the first foul on Metz. I see you nodding your head, Casey. You like it.
Yeah, I think right now that Lowry's the guy you want the ball going through at all times anyway. He's got a size advantage. If New London's going to play man-to-man, let Lowry take Metz to the basket. Metz cannot defend him. Lowry at the least will get a good look, or if they collapse, he'll get a distribution to one of his guys. So I like this very much.
Lowry's the best free throw shooter on the Woodstock Academy squad, but misses the first. And has the second. Here comes Metz. Peters will guard him on this, and Metz just simply lost it. Here's McGinn. Kicks for Peters. He hits a three.
He's going to make a lot of shots, and if you leave him open like that, he's going to. This is Metz's first time on a stage this big. Let's see if he can get the nerves out of the way.
Here's Metz. Oh, what a crossover to get free on the baseline, and hits the pull-up.
There's that fearlessness I was talking about. He had a big turnover. He sees Lowry take him to the basket. He wanted to step up, announce his presence with authority, if you will.
10-6 New London. Foul away from the ball.
C.J. Parker that time with a hold inside. New London's got its biggest lineup that it can field really realistically on the floor right now, with Parker in playing guard, Maynard, Sawyer, and Barner. This is a big lineup for them. It allows them to rebound, and I think they like Parker's athleticism on Bourgeois. If Parker isn't in the game, it's Seth Lake, and I think they like Parker on the matchup with Bourgeois.
Here's Lowry. Gets into the lane. Leaves for Bourgeois. Up fakes, gets 2 men up, and then is hammered by Josh Maynard, who'll pick up his first foul. Let's go to Dave Edgecombe. Dave?
Guys, you nailed it in the pregame show how important tempo will be. When I talked to both coaches, one of their answers might surprise you. Obviously, Coach Parker said, preferably we want to get up and down the floor, but we can play in the half-court set if we need to. Coach Smith, on the other hand, said, let's run. He welcomes a track meet. He said, we know how to run on the farm. And I sent a little bit of edge in his voice when he said it. Mark, Casey?
All right. We'll look for that. The farm. Bringing in the farm.
I love it. I love it.
Woodstock from out in the country for sure, serving the towns of Brooklyn, Canterbury, Eastford, Pomfret, Union, and Woodstock. Not Metropolis, mind you, but they can play some ball, and they got the defense there. Looking to tie the game, but Peters loses it. Given right back by Maynard. A little bit of a sloppy stretch right there. Here is Lowry going to the basket again. Can't get the roll. Barner the rebound. Metz.
Oh, in the open floor, yeah.
That's McGinn picking up the foul, and you certainly don't want your big man like McGinn giving up a foul there.
That was just a case of him being out of position in the middle of the floor and not being able to see the basketball. Big men like that, if you're going to be running back, you got to know where you are at all times. Right now, New London is going to struggle a little bit. That man-to-man defense they're playing is very dangerous. Woodstock is getting to the basket at will, and we've seen a lot of easy shots so far.
Sawyer guarded tightly by Bourgeois. Doesn't want to give up any more of those threes that Sawyer started the game with. Metz will pull up. And rebound to Bourgeois. Always with the head up. Lowry bringing it up against Metz. Bourgeois in the corner. Here comes McGinn for the screen. Lowry's shot is blocked on the switch by Maynard. McGinn inside had it blocked by C.J. Parker. And Metz deflected away, but now it's Sawyer spinning against 3 defenders, and he'll get 2 free throws.
I was just going to say after the last possession that, you had Sawyer knock down 2 early threes, and then New London hasn't gone back to him since. So I give Sawyer credit for getting himself back involved in the offense right there. They cannot go 3 and 4 possessions without him touching the basketball.
First foul on Adam Converse, and it'll send Sawyer to the line. Good-looking free throw for him. 7 of the New London 11. And he's got them both.
On the other side of things, I think Peters has to try to get an open look as well. One shot, he knocked it down.
Bourgeois in traffic. Kept alive by Converse. Back inside McGinn. Bangs it in off the board, plus the foul. A chance for a 3-point play.
Great job that time by Converse, keeping the ball alive, and then McGinn taking advantage of it inside. Barner goes for the block almost every time. He didn't get his body set, and that time he got burned.
Sorry, it was Adam Converse inside.
We're getting rewarded for the effort on the tip-out.
Absolutely. So he's got the 3-point play. Here's Sawyer. Now to the corner. Drive from C.J. Parker with a beautiful drive to the baseline.
Yeah, we saw in the NFA game, we came in to defend Marcus Outlow and play physical, but he stepped up offensively. He is not afraid to get to the basket.
And an offensive foul as Maynard stepped in to draw it.
Great job that time. That's how you play interior defense from a help position. He was over early, feet set, and then he took the hard charge. Anybody who thinks that's easy that watching TV, you try letting someone run you over going top speed.
Will Bourgeois picks up his first 4th team foul on the Centaurs. Pull-up jumper this time. Won't go for Sawyer, but Barner the offensive rebound. Metz will fire. Nabate Metz, and a rebound from Bourgeois, who's got at least 3 defensive boards so far here in the first quarter.
Yeah, they're a completely different team with him in the game. Athlete, lunch pail guy, does a little bit of everything.
Lowry taking Metz down low. Offensive rebound. Converse. And he'll get 2 more free throws. We'll see who this one's on.
It's going to be Barner again, yeah.
And that's 2 on him.
Yeah, New London's going to have to get Robinson in the game or maybe Roman into the game. They're going to have to get some size for Barner. But really what that was all about was Lowry just having the size over Metz. Metz couldn't stop him. Lowry had multiple opportunities, and a big had to slide over and help.
Greg Smith cleared out that right side to let Chris Lowry do what you've been asking for. Try to exploit that matchup with Nabate Metz. And Converse converts. It's a 1-point game.
Hunter Roman checks into the ballgame for New London for Barner.
Metz lost it on the drive. Here comes Lowry in the open court. Pressure on the defense. Sets up McGinn. Blocked by Maynard from behind. Bourgeois is after it, though. And can't quite control it, but great hustle play from Bourgeois of the Centaurs.
You'll see Metz take a seat and Landon Peabody come into the ballgame for New London. We saw Peabody earlier in the year. Good scoring touch, great quickness with the basketball.
Hunter Roman joining the team late in the season. Many football fans will remember the tremendous defensive playmaker that he is for the Whalers. Steal on the pressure there by Bourgeois, and it's McGinn who's fouled taking it up.
Yeah, I don't know much about Hunter Roman as a basketball player, but I know that he has got size, great athleticism, and one of the best motors and wills to win of any competitor. So I imagine those are the things he brings to the basketball court as well.
1:33 to go in the first quarter, and 6 team foul on New London, Casey. So that's something to watch here, as Woodstock is going to be able to shoot on all common fouls starting on the next one.
Yeah, New London's getting burned by that man-to-man defense. They're playing tough man-to-man, but also drawing a lot of fouls in the process.
And McGinn has given the Centaurs the lead. First lead of the game.
See how New London plays without Metz in the basketball game. Peabody running the point.
Gives to Roman. Missing inside. Peters couldn't control the rebound, so it will stay with the Whalers.
Woodstock trying to put a little more pressure now with Metz out of the game.
C.J. Parker swings to the corner. Quick release from Sawyer. That wouldn't go down. Wild tip wouldn't go either for Hunter Roman.
Good look, though, from Sawyer.
Here comes Bourgeois, looking for a friend. Now it's Lowry. Peabody will try his hand at guarding this spectacular playmaker.
A little more size, but he's also inexperienced.
Off the turnover. Sawyer ahead off the nice feed from Peabody. Pass tipped away, last touch by New London, so it'll be Woodstock Academy ball on the side. 10 points in the first quarter from Colin Sawyer. That's 47 points now in the last 5 quarters for him. Remember, he had 37 in the quarters. That's Bourgeois with the answer from 3.
Great catch and shoot that time, in rhythm. A little extended pressure this time from Woodstock.
C.J. Parker kicks to Maynard. Maynard, the 3 off the dribble. Rebound to Peters.
Not the best shot right there with this much time left. It's one thing to catch and shoot out of a set. Forcing an outside shot like that, probably not the best decision by Maynard, who's made very good decisions here in the early going.
Another turnover by Lowry in the final seconds. 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. Sawyer can't hit. Peabody the follow, and he puts it in at the first quarter buzzer. What an opening quarter of play we've had in semifinal number 1. Woodstock Academy and New London all even at 18 apiece. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Preparing elementary and high school students for lifelong success calls for a commitment to excellence. Welcome to New London Public Schools, the only public school district in Connecticut designated as a magnet district, specializing in science, technology, engineering, and math, along with performing and visual arts. Our magnet curriculum creates enhanced learning experiences for all students. Develop your child's inner talents. For admission to a New London Magnet School, apply online today at newlondon.org.
Welcome back to Game Day live on theday.com. The ECC tournament semifinals. 2 of them for you tonight from Waterford High School. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill. Right now New London with a 18-18 tie at the moment with Woodstock Academy. NFA and Ledyard will do battle in semifinal number 2, so no need to go anywhere tonight. Leave it on Game Day live on theday.com. Great high school basketball matchups for you.
Absolutely. Get in front of the computer or in front of your TV, stream us. Let's go.
Turn it up. Here's Lowry for Woodstock. Peters had a 3 in the first quarter. Good look at it there, coming off a screen. And he gives Woodstock Academy their largest lead of the game. It's only 3.
He's too good of a shooter to allow him the 2 open looks that he's had.
Peabody, good penetration, but the bounce pass was in the wrong spot, looking for Roman.
A point guard who's not always the point guard, and a big who has just new to the team, and timing was a little bit off.
Bourgeois on the cut. Misses the off-balance shot. Here comes Peabody in transition. 3-on-2. Sawyer tried to save it. Hunter Roman dives. Like he's recovering a fumble there after a strip sack.
Good ball skills right there he showed, right? Absolutely. The difference being he just held on to it, I don't think he was trying to call a timeout. His teammates were, but instead we have the jump ball possession to the Whalers.
This is Jelani Lucas, speaking of football, spectacular receiver for the Whalers as well.
Right now, the only real scoring on the floor is Sawyer.
Good defensive set that time for Woodstock Academy. 6:50 to go in the second quarter. Lowry, good look at the three, and he buries it.
Yeah, if he shoots that well from the outside, they are a very difficult team. He and Peters make awful matchups for teams if Lowry is shooting the ball well. Metz looks like he's going to be checking back in for New London.
Peabody off 2 screens. He had his choice. He went right. Here's Lucas driving and trying to find Hunter Roman, and it looks like what you talked about earlier. Little timing issues there with the new player in Roman. Here's our first look at Devontae Robinson up off the bench.
Biggest deficit for New London so far. They're trying to find a lineup that works for them.
Never went to the table, did Robinson. Now will come in 6'4".
So far, New London's done a good job with those Woodstock bigs, but the 2 guards have really caused them problems.
Converse could not control. It was last touched by the Whalers, so Centaurs will have it underneath. Right now, Woodstock Academy on a 13-4 run to get to their largest lead of the game at 24-18.
We've seen 3 different players hit threes for Woodstock.
Metz. Lucas. Layup wouldn't go for Robinson on his first touch. Good transition defense that time for New London. Bourgeois, the contested 3. Robinson, rebound. And Lucas lays it in.
New London is causing turnovers, but they haven't been able to convert up till now. Woodstock's been a little sloppy with the basketball in their last couple of trips, trying to make passes into passing lanes, not always a successful idea.
New London easily defeated Turtelot in the quarterfinals. Jelani Lucas had 15 off the bench in that one. Stayed on the rim forever. McGinn working the offensive glass.
Yeah, exactly. Use the right word, work. He just outworked Josh Maynard for position and went up. Right back up for the follow.
Here's Metz on the drive. Somehow could not get the roll. Another defensive board for Bourgeois.
Yeah, it was a good shot by Metz. I think he had Sawyer as a cutter, but that one just didn't go down.
One dribble, pull up won't go for Bourgeois. Here comes Metz. Lucas. Well short. 4:42 to go in the first half. Lowry draws a big man. Turned it over. Sawyer, the spin move in transition.
Saw him calculate that. He went hard to the middle, so he knew he could spin to the strong hand. That's a good scorer, knowing where he is. That's a smart move by Sawyer.
His outside prowess in the first quarter, taking it to the hole there. Lucas is guarding Bourgeois, which is a major size and strength advantage for Woodstock. See if that comes into play. Lowry. Peters on the cut. And the foul. Whalers defended that beautifully. There was nowhere for Peters to go, but the whistle against the Whalers.
It might not have been the best foul, but it's also a foolish foul by New London. I mean, Peters is not going to drive to the basket, hang in midair with his left hand on the other side of the basket. Just put your hands up. What you've succeeded is you put a great foul shooter at the line when you let him off the hook because he had no chance to make the basket. So sometimes you just got to know where your opponent is and not always go for the block.
8 points for Trent Peters today. That foul, by the way, was on Josh Maynard, his second. Remains in the game for New London.
Seth Lake, another shooter in the game for New London.
Devontae Robinson, good position, another rebound for Bourgeois. He's getting them all.
Good. New London's getting good looks inside. Have just not been able to convert up till now.
Greg Parker is going deep into the bench. He cycled in a lot of players here in the first half. He's got Brian Cespedes at the table as well.
He's trying to find a big guy that can work inside playing two-way basketball. Hasn't found one that worked yet.
Pull-up jumper just inside the arc. Metz can't hit. Here's Peters. Converse. And a rebound from Maynard.
We've seen Roman unable to catch and score. Robinson unable to convert. Barner with some fouls.
Metz gave up the dribble. This is Maynard. Fakes the three. Now the drive. And that was McGinn with the rebound. 2:45 to go in the half. Nobody picking up. Converse fouled as he went to the hole. Looked like he might have been trying to dunk that.
They're going to get Seth Lake there. I don't know where the foul came from, but be that as it may, Converse to the line for two.
Substitution for the Whalers, number 34, Brian Sahadas.
Both free throws good for Adam Converse, and now Woodstock Academy has stretched their lead up to a game-high 8 points, 30-22. 2.5 minutes to go. Sawyer was open momentarily, couldn't hit, so the red-hot start from outside has cooled somewhat for Colin Sawyer. Still leads all scorers with 12 points.
Whalers need to stop right here. Don't want to get down 10. And Woodstock's going to take some air out, play the matchups.
Lowry. Peters. Oh, catch and shoot. When you got a distributor like Lowry, you can make a living out there, and that's what Peters is doing.
New London's just going to knock down shots. That's what they're not doing right now.
This is Cespedes inside. Bourgeois. He might have 10 rebounds.
At least.
Inside, Peters can't convert. Cespedes the rebound.
Whalers need a basket. They are right now in a little bit of a rut.
Lake can't hit. Bourgeois. Incredible rebounding performance for him.
Charles Barkley Lake.
Patience. And now Lowry in the lane. Converse jump hook. Offensive rebound. Spinning hook. McGinn powers it up and in through Brian Cespedes.
Whalers' big guys are going for blocks. They're up in the air all the time. That's just bad fundamentals on part of New London. They're down 13 because, quite frankly, they're getting outworked by Woodstock.
1:01 to go in the first half. Woodstock Academy having grabbed control of this game after getting down 8-2 early. They withstood that initial hot streak by the Whalers and have completely controlled the game since.
Yeah, and it's really just a question. I mean, it's not like Woodstock's playing flawless basketball. They've turned it over a number of times. They've missed a bunch of open looks. And a flawless basketball game. What they've managed to do on the offensive end is they've managed to get to the basket, take advantage of, quite frankly, poor fundamentals on the part of New London, who wants to get up in the air and block every shot. They're outworking them underneath for baskets, and they're making their outside shots. Peters, Lowry, and Bourgeois have all knocked down three. But, that's how they like to do it out on the farm.
So we're seeing our first substitution of the game from Woodstock as they've brought in Kyle Duthorn, number 14, as well as 24, Sean Falvey. Meanwhile, New London has already used 11 players.
There was a time this year when New London only went about 8 deep. Now we're seeing them go well down on the bench.
Sawyer the drive, contact plus the foul. Colin Sawyer taking it to the hole, have a chance for three-point play.
Well, we see with Sawyer, He's looking to get to the basket. He's got multiple ways of scoring, and he's going to be challenging my 16-point rule because he's about 16 points already, and they're down 11.
Don't worry, I've only got him for 14. This would be 15. So, and there it is. Foul was on Sean Falvey.
Official's going to reset the clock here. Coach Smith's going to take advantage of it to slip McGinn back into the ballgame.
So McGinn coming in for Falvey. So a very short stint for him, at least for now. We'll see him again. Looks like he may be ready to go right back in at the next stoppage. 10-point game right now. Here's Peters, guarded by Sawyer. Dewthorne looking for help. High post McGinn. Screens for Lowry. Lowry the drive, blocked from behind by Cespedes. And quite a bit of contact, but no whistle. 23 seconds to go in the first half. Nabate Metz. And they turn it over. So now with a 10-point lead, Peters says, hold it, let's take one shot.
Yeah, that was a big one. New London had a chance to cut it down to 8. Instead, Woodstock's got the ball with a chance to up it.
Peters has it blocked by Sawyer, and that'll do it for the first half of play. Semifinal number 1 from Waterford High School. This is the ECC tournament. 2 games for you tonight. NFA and Ledyard will be game number 2, but right now we are at halftime of game 1 with Woodstock Academy leading New London 35-25.
Yeah, he's got to send them.
You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Nickerson, your local Geico agent. No matter where you live or work in Eastern Connecticut, my local Geico office is nearby to save you money. Whether you're in Old Saybrook, Niantic, Norwich, Willimantic, Westerly, Mystic, or near our beautiful new office in Waterford, Geico is just around the corner from you. Call my local Geico office and start your policy right over the phone. Call Geico, where savings is our first policy.
We can all talk about various cases that we've had, but one case we're particularly proud of is one where Matt Schaffner, one of my partners, represented a family who lost someone in the attacks of 9/11. Matt was very diligent and was able to help that family. We weren't compensated for that because we felt it was important to give back not only to that family, but to the community as well. The personal satisfaction of representing that family was immense. Overall, I think you'll find that the one word that describes Sussman Shapiro is dedicated. We are dedicated to our clients' causes. We're aggressive as needed, but at the end of the day, the client leaves here knowing that not only did we do a good job for them, but we also cared about them as an individual or as an institution.
Welcome back to Game Day live on theday.com. An exciting first half of action in the semifinal number 1 from Waterford High School ECC tournament. Here on Game Day, Woodstock Academy with the 35-25 advantage over the New London Whalers. It's a rematch of last year's matchup, and right now Woodstock looks like they certainly want a little bit of revenge. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill. We're going to join Dave Edgecombe now. Dave?
Coach, big game coming up. You've played them twice this year. Getting to know them quite well. They beat you last year. Which game is more important to remember for your side? Last year's semifinal loss or the 2 wins this year?
Well, we're going to harp on the loss. So, I mean, those are the things that stick out. When you realize, when you look back and you see teams and the records and stuff, you don't remember all the wins. You remember those losses. So we're going to harp on that and try not to get that, that feeling again.
And of late, your guard play has been sensational. What's been the key to your guys' success of late?
Just getting the ball to Deontay. He makes everybody else around him better, and when he's scoring, he's really hard to guard, and he can get everybody else involved. But when he's not making the shots, it's tougher for us to score.
And Darnay's been missed the last couple of games. What's his status like for tonight's game?
He's ready to go. He's ready to go tonight. He'll be there.
Rearing to go, I would imagine?
Ready to go.
Coach, thanks for taking the time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Mark, Casey.
All right, thank you, Dave. Dave Cornish, head coach for Ledyard. Awful lot of pressure on Ledyard coming in here.
Yeah, they are the #1 seed. They are trying to overcome that last hurdle. They've won all kinds of games in the past few years, just haven't been able to win the ECC tournament, and they're staring down at a team that beat them last year. So clearly, I would say of all the teams here tonight, the team with the most pressure on their shoulders is Ledyard.
Ledyard won the ECC Large, perfect 10-0. No losses to any ECC teams. Their only losses to Xavier, Glastonbury, and Hartford Public. So we'll take a break here on Game Day Live on theday.com. This is the MJ Sullivan Halftime Show. We'll continue in a moment.
At the MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner, our #1 goal has always been to earn your business for life. As one of the largest dealerships in Eastern Connecticut, selling Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, and Hyundai, we accomplish our goal by not just offering best buying experience, but more importantly, the best service experience after the sale. That philosophy is what built this company from a single-base service station nearly 45 years ago to who we are today. So experience the difference and let us earn your business for life. The MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner in New London or at mjsullivanauto.com.
The future is now.
I am in control of my next 4 years.
Education is our passport to the future.
Live the life you imagine. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going.
This is my classroom.
This is my classroom.
This is our classroom.
Education is the future.
Do something remarkable. I can be myself.
Welcome to the next 4 years.
Welcome back to the MJ Sullivan Halftime Report of Game Day Live on theday.com. New London and Woodstock Academy at halftime, semifinal #1 of the ECC tournament. It's a 10-point lead for Woodstock. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sussman Shapiro Law Firm, the largest law firm in Eastern Connecticut, and Norwich Free Academy, the choice of students in southeastern Connecticut. Well, Dave Edgecombe is on the sidelines right now with a very special guest, Marcus Outlaw, or Mr. Clutch. Dave, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. First, I'll talk about the team. You guys have rattled off 5 straight after your loss to Ledyard. What's been the key to your turnaround in those last 5 games?
Well, we've just been motivated. That last Ledyard game, we felt like we had them. We kind of let it slip. And that's just been our motivation. We wanted to get back to this point. We wanted to see this team again. And we feel like we got a great shot. We know they're a great team. We know they're well coached. And, we're looking forward to the challenge, and we'll be ready tonight.
Now, against Waterford, you hit a big shot. You played well. You kind of been your guy. What are you looking for? What are you trying to do on the floor tonight against Ledyard from your perspective?
From my perspective, what I have to do for this team to win is, I have to score. So I'm going to try to assert myself early by going to the basket, getting a lot of free throws, and that'll dictate my rhythm in the game. If my shot is falling down, that's just going to be a whole different story in itself. And I feel like when I get that confidence going, I feel like I can score in the bunches, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm just going to try to be aggressive. I'm going to try to go out there and do what's best for my team.
And obviously, Coach Juicy's all about defense. You guys are holding opponents to 41 points a game these last 4 games. What's been the key to that? How important is your defense to win in this game tonight?
Defense is huge. We know Ledyard. They want to press. They want to get a lot of buckets. We know they like to rattle a lot of teams, but I feel like our team. We don't get rattled by presses. We practice it a lot in practice, and we're a sound basketball team. And we limit them to what they want. As long as we keep this game close, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll be able to get it done.
Marcus, thanks for the time. Good luck tonight. Mark, Casey.
Thank you very much, Dave. I don't know what else to say. That is an impressive young man right there. A man with a plan. And what a breakdown.
Boston College bound, Marcus Outlaw, and there are some people even seated at the table that would tell you Boston College, premier athletic and academic institution, but he seems like a kid that's ready to go to play Division I sports, though, doesn't he? He's composed, he's articulate, he's clearly got an understanding of sports, both individually and team. And that's why NFA's in the semifinals. That's why they were in the finals, and that's why they beat teams, in part because of the leadership of Marcus Outlaw.
Well, Marcus Outlaw will be leading NFA against Ledyard. 17.5 points a game. He's their leading scorer, shoots 42% from three-point range. All that and more still to come on Game Day Live on theday.com. That's going to do it for the MJ Sullivan halftime report. When we come back, the start of the third quarter, semifinal number 1. Woodstock Academy leading the Whalers of New London 35-25.
My name's Jay Berryman. I'm a director and I'm the head of the Workers' Compensation and Social Security divisions of Sussman Shapiro. I think that my favorite part of the job is just the intellectual challenge that still exists. And I enjoy the satisfaction that comes from doing a job well. When a client says, thank you for what you've done, that's makes it pretty rewarding, and why I'm doing this for 30 years now.
Preparing elementary and high school students for lifelong success calls for a commitment to excellence. Welcome to New London Public Schools, the only public school district in Connecticut designated as a magnet district, specializing in science, technology, engineering, and math, along with performing and visual arts. Our magnet curriculum creates enhanced learning experiences for all students. Develop your child's inner talents. For admission to a New London Magnet School, apply online today at newlondon.org.
Welcome back to Game Day, live on theday.com from Waterford High School, New London, and Woodstock in semifinal number 1 of the ECC tournaments. Today's game is brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner, Eastern Connecticut's automotive leader for over 30 years, selling Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, and Hyundai. And Philomena's Restaurant, proud to be named one of Connecticut's best family restaurants of 2013. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill, Dave Edgecombe roaming the sidelines for us. We're ready to start the third quarter. It will be Woodstock Academy basketball with the 10-point lead, getting ready to start the second half.
Both original starting fives back out there, and my favorite part of basketball, the start of the second half. What adjustments were made? What are we going to do differently? How is New London going to stop the penetration and the shooting of Woodstock? How is Woodstock going to control the tempo and stop the turnovers? Can they hold the lead? It's all here in front of us. My favorite part of the basketball game.
And second half underway. Chris Lowry headed for a Division III basketball career. We're told Babson or WPI the most likely places.
Well, we saw something right off the bat. New London went to a 2-1-2 zone, and they extended out on Peters, and it allowed them both to alter the shot and weak side rebounding. So there's the first change. New London out of the man.
Pull-up jumper for Metz. In and out, and the rebound to Lowry.
They're getting good looks. Got to knock them down. And now New London goes back into a man-to-man.
McGinn out beyond the arc. Takes a look at Converse. Those bigs do a great job passing together. Bourgeois from the far wing. Nearly got his own miss. Here comes Sawyer. 15 first half points for him. Maynard. That's a tough leaner, but he gets it to go.
Good decision that time by Maynard, getting to the basket. Now New London back into his own again.
First points of the second half.
So New London obviously, New London giving different looks right here off the bat. Box and one.
It's Metz face guarding Lowry. Interesting choice here. We'll see how that affects things.
Well, they don't want him to get to the basket and use the size advantage. It allows them to stay zone on Peters. There's where the box and one is vulnerable, and Woodstock did a great job. The center of the box, getting it a big into space.
Left-hand jump hook. Oh, the miss from Sawyer, but the follow-in from Nick Barner.
Oh, what athleticism by Barner that time. I liked how Sawyer attacked the basket. Looks like both teams trying to get to the rack.
Peters thought about the three. Bourgeois on top against two defenders.
Gotta flash somebody to the middle of that. Can't swing it around the perimeter all day.
Tried to force it to Lowry and they turned it over.
Yeah, Woodstock's got to find that soft underbelly of the box. They cannot swing the ball around the perimeter against the box. Just think about it. You've got a square. You can't go around the square. You got to go into the middle.
Mets. C.J. Parker looking for Maynard. Good hands down low and puts it in off the window.
Parker not a shooter, but he can get to the basket, and that time his size allowed him to penetrate. Nice look. There it is.
McGinn lost the handle. He could have grabbed it. Just couldn't have dribbled it. And a timeout for Greg Smith. He's seen what's going on out there. Some adjustments here in the huddle to that box and one.
And I love it because he's grabbing the whiteboard. And that means right now, you see him, that means he's diagramming right now. He is going to show them this is how we defeat the box and one. He's going to draw his defense, and he's going to show here's where their guys are going to be in this square, and he's going to show exactly where his guys need to go to counteract. So he's going to be drawing where his players go, and they can see it right now. This is the best part of coaching. In-game, on the fly, adjusting to another team's adjustments in a timeout. This is textbook coaching right now from Greg Smith.
And here's the rub for a coach, right? They're doing a box and one on Lowry for a reason. He's an incredibly important player for your team. Do you say, hey, fine, do that, the rest of my guys will beat you? Or do you try to find ways to get that best player involved? It's a conundrum. It'll be interesting to see what he does.
I think the best way to do both is play good defense and then run off of turnovers and missed shots. That allows Lowry to have the ball in space in transition. But once you're in the half-court set, then attack the box and one and let Mets take Lowry away and attack the soft zone in the box and one. So you still can do both. You don't want Lowry to get out of the game, but you don't have to do it in a half-court set.
So we'll see what adjustments he made. Bourgeois looking right there into the middle. Little inside-out action. Sawyer nearly took it away. That box is being pretty aggressive. Still a 6-point lead for Woodstock. Bourgeois hits a three.
Woodstock's going to have to start in and out, in and out. That's how you want to attack.
Barner down low from Maynard. Could not score.
Good job by Converse that time, standing his ground with Barner, who's not a scorer.
So now they start with the ball in Lowry's hands. Down low, Converse behind the backboard, but finds Bourgeois. A little 12-footer. Big rebound from Barner. C.J. Parker to Barner. Back out for Parker. Short on the three. And the rebound into the hands of Lowry, so they can't deny it when he gets the rebound.
You're a coach's son, CJ. You got to know better than to take that shot.
High post. Good ball movement from
there it
Woodstock.
Is.
Open three.
There
Peters. He's great at that. 11 first-half points. Can't hit there. Still, though, a 9-point lead for Woodstock Academy.
That was the right look, though.
Nabate Mets can't hit.
New London's got to stop trying to shoot these threes and run an offense. The other thing right now is Lowry should be running Mets all over the place. They're going to play box and one. Lowry has to make Mets work. He can't just stand on the perimeter.
Barner partially blocked by Converse, but they'll get Converse with the foul.
Foul is on number 20, Adam Converse.
If Nabate Mets is going to be playing box and one and denying Lowry the ball, it's a waste to allow him just to stand there and not do anything. He's got to run him. Mets is the smallest guy on the floor. Run him into every pick you can. Run him off of every screen you can. He's their point guard too. Exhaust him. Don't allow the box and one to let Lowry just stand around on the offensive side.
Seth Lake into the game, replacing C.J. Parker.
That was because Parker's had open looks. He's not a shooter. Lake can fill it up. They're hoping Lake can have those same shots.
And Barner the miss, but he went over the line early, so a violation on New London, and the basketball goes to Woodstock.
Now I'm going to pronounce this name wrong. You want to help me out? Is that Couture?
I'm going to say Couture.
All right. From Twitter, Amy Couture could not make it to the game tonight, so she's watching on theday.com and rooting for the Woodstock Centaurs from her kitchen. So, Amy, thank you for joining us tonight. And so far, your rooting has got an 8-point lead for your Centaurs, so nice job, Amy.
Well, that's a great thing about Game Day Live on theday.com. You can take it with you. Your kitchen, get a Wi-Fi connection.
Get a mobile hotspot and you can go anywhere you want. Little 4G.
ECC semifinal number 1. Nabate Mets can't hit.
Whalers are just not getting a rhythm offensively right now. That's all that is.
Bourgeois the pull-up and hits back to a 10-point game.
Yep, transition baskets didn't allow New London to get into that box. Found an early seam and nailed it down.
Bourgeois has been incredible. We're not charting the number, but Bourgeois with 12 points. He has at least that many rebounds. Now comes up with a loose ball and the foul on Josh Maynard, and that'll be 3 on him.
Yeah, good hands that time, stripping Sawyer. Maynard with the lazy reach. His third foul. We're going to see Peabody check back into the ball game for Mets. Or is that Lucas? Jelani Lucas back into the ball game for New London.
Maynard. Substitution for the New London Whalers. Number 2, Jelani Lucas.
Bourgeois all the way over for Peters.
Now they've got Lucas on Lowry, but still running the box and 1. Found the seam.
It's Converse. Now into double digits with 11.
Great job flashing Converse into the belly of the box. Found him cutting. And then a nice touch from the big to finish.
Lake the drive of the dish. Barner all the way out. Maynard drives with the 3 fouls. Count the basket. He'll have a chance for a 3-point play.
Coach Smith is saying, no, he walked. But the officials say no, count the basket. I thought it was actually a bad decision by Maynard. He had Sawyer out on the wing wide open. Instead, he took it to the basket, but it paid dividends, and he has a chance to cut this thing back to single digits. So Machiavelli would be pleased. Ends justifying the means.
It's that Wesleyan education coming in right there. Still a 10-point lead for Woodstock. They got down 8-2 to start this game and then took complete control. They've played outstanding basketball. Lowry on the cut, and he scores inside.
Good strength that time because Sawyer got a piece of it. He still finished. That strength's going to allow him to play at the next level.
Inside a minute to go in the third. Lake, that's what he's out there to do. Can't hit that 3. Contested rebound, strong play there from Adam Converse.
New London's not careful, and they're going to find themselves down insurmountable 14 or more here to end this quarter.
What a backdoor and bounce pass. And Lowry, the extra delivery to John McGinn.
Yeah, Woodstock's got it all going for him right now. Looks like they've solved the box, especially in transition.
Largest lead of the game now at 14. 20 seconds to go in the third. Lucas, Lake, Maynard to the hole. Puts it in. He's had a great third quarter. 8 of his 10 points have come here in the third, but his team's still down a dozen. 6 seconds to go in the third. Lowry trying to lose Lucas. Good defense by Jelani Lucas, but that's about all that went right for the Whalers in that third quarter. 8 minutes to go in semifinal number 1, and it's Woodstock Academy looking to avenge last year's semifinal loss at the hands of defending ECC tournament champions New London. 48-36 heading for the fourth. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Nickerson, your local Geico agent. No matter where you live or work in Eastern Connecticut, my local Geico office is nearby to save you money. Whether you're in Old Saybrook, Niantic, Norwich, Willimantic, Westerly, Mystic, or near our beautiful new office in Waterford, Geico is just around the corner from you. Call my local Geico office and start your policy right over the phone. Call Geico, where savings is our first policy.
Welcome back to Game Day Live on the Day.com. Semifinal number 1. New London, the defending ECC tournament champion, in some big trouble here. Down 12 points as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. I'm Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill, and it's been a tremendous 3 quarters for Woodstock Academy. They've led by as many as 14. That was just moments ago. And now they have it to start the fourth quarter. The drive before the shot. Foul on the floor against New London.
Perfect start, though, for Woodstock here to start the fourth quarter. Lowry to the basket, drawing a foul.
This is Peters, gives to Bourgeois. Bourgeois has been incredible. A double-double, 12 points and 12 rebounds, almost all of them on the defensive end. And we got a timeout as Lowry was in a bit of trouble with the handle under some pressure. Looks like he might have tweaked his leg as well at the same time. 7:36 to go in this ball game.
So New London down 12 has got 2 challenges in this last 7.5 minutes. On the offensive end, they're getting good looks. They've just got to knock down shots. And primarily, Lake, Sawyer, someone's got to be able to knock down some threes to get them in this thing a little faster. On the defensive end, I think the box and one has did what it needed to do, but now Woodstock has made the adjustments. So New London is going to have to figure out a defense that allows them to get some stops, and we're going to see what they go to here. I don't think they're going to be in the box and one anymore. It looks like they're back man-to-man. And a travel will get the Whalers back with the ball and a chance to cut it back to 10. So we went back to a man-to-man and disrupted Woodstock a little bit with that possession.
We'll see if changing the defenses can provide some more fruit. Oh, what a drive from Metz, but Barner couldn't handle the pass. Now the scramble on the floor. Held ball situation, and it's going to stay with New London.
New London lost opportunity there. Metz with great look hit Barner right in the hands, and that's maybe the 4th time we've seen a New London big with the ball right in its hands, and they've lost control. So something they definitely need to work on, catching the basketball.
All the way out for Sawyer. Metz weaving his way in and back out for Lake. Another open look. Cannot hit. Bourgeois, 2-on-1. Late pass from McGinn. And a rebound, Lake. Numbers now, Sawyer. Well, he'll go for the little pull-up and hit.
Smart choice that time by Colin Sawyer.
17 points. Didn't score in the third quarter after 15 in the first half. Bourgeois taking it to the hole. Offensive foul. They'll say Bourgeois lowered the shoulder. With 3 fouls, it was Josh Maynard who stepped in to drive.
And what Maynard is saying is right now is, I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my parents. I'd like to thank the director, the producer, and the casting agent. That's a good old-fashioned flop right there, but he sold it. And sometimes acting is as good as getting your feet positioned.
Looked like a good spot for a no call, maybe.
Well, I think Bourgeois certainly wasn't out of control by any stretch. So sometimes you like to reward somebody, but.
So New London turns it over. 6:45 to go, and so far, no signs that a great run is coming from the Whalers. Still plenty of time, though. Metz continues to guard Lowry. Bourgeois operating inside. Right back out for Lowry. Inside McGinn. Oh, that's just great defense from Josh Maynard. With the foul trouble, stays big and blocks the shot.
Yeah, Maynard's played a really good game defensively. He's got 3 or 4 blocks. He's taken charge. He's done a nice job.
Converse. Looked for the cutting Peters, but the pass was just a little bit off the mark.
You know, like I said earlier, this is not Woodstock playing its A game where they're playing a seamless game. They've turned the ball over
a lot,
over 10 times. New London has just not been able to capitalize on their opportunities.
Yeah, Woodstock generally takes great care of the ball, only 10 turnovers a game. That's McGinn getting the rebound. Bourgeois allowing one of his teammates to get a defensive rebound. Hasn't happened much. Lowry, good hesitation move. Finds Converse. They're going to wave off the basket and say travel.
Yeah, weak side helped that time as Barnard slid over, caused a little hesitation, feet, extra little step, a little tippity-tap, and the charge. But for New London, it's just a question of finishing opportunities. They've had plenty of opportunities. Woodstock's turned it over a dozen times, but New London just can't finish.
Inside Barner. Great help defense from Lowry and McGinn, but Seth Lake has it. And he'll shoot the three. Yes, finally he gets a little something to go. First basket of the game. New London really needs it. Now the pressure.
They got Lowry trapped. Oh, they're going to get Maynard on a reach. That's going to be 4.
Boy, they were in great shape. They had Lowry pinned in. A 4-way trap, really, with the baseline and the sideline, 2 defenders, but he somehow found his man, and it will be the 4th foul on Josh Maynard.
You know, that Lake 3, I think, was the first 3 from New London since the early 3s that we saw Sawyer hit. They have gone a long time without being able to hit one from behind the arc. Before that 3, Lake's last 3 was in this gym on a buzzer beater to beat Waterford. So he obviously likes shooting here, but he's gonna need a few more if they're gonna cut into this 7-point lead.
Lowry spinning and turns it over. Metz using his quickness and fouled by McGinn.
Metz that time just quicker. I'm not sure he could have finished, the smallest guy on the floor, but he got to the corner, dipped his shoulder. That's a smart move by the young point guard. Once he dipped the shoulder and got it going around the corner, he had position.
Now we'll get to the line for 2.
Crucial foul shots here, Mark. And that was 5 on Josh Maynard.
We had him for 4, but that a big loss for what he's been doing, particularly on the defensive end, though he did have 10 points as well in this game. 5.5 minutes to go. New London back within 6. One more free throw coming from Metz. He's got them both. All right, here comes the pressure from the Whalers.
Well, good entry to Lowry. They couldn't get the trap.
And Metz commits the foul on the sideline.
You know, 5:28 remaining. Once you blow the trap, you don't have to foul. You don't have to reach in. Get back and play good defense. Little bit unnecessary that time by Metz, but great job by Woodstock hitting Lowry on the fly and allowing him to get past a trap before it even could happen.
Nice give and go, and the power up by Bourgeois. He's got 14.
Let's see if Lake or Sawyer can get back involved on the three-pointer.
Robinson inside between the 2 Woodstock bigs. Looks like it could be McGinn. Oh, they're going to get Converse, it looks like.
Now, I'd love to see a replay of that because it looked like Robinson got from point A to point B in a manner that was impossible without having to take extra steps. But he went one way, spun. I think he might have gotten away with one, but now he's at here's down 7. Very important foul shots.
It's the 3rd foul on Converse. Officials had a discussion as to which of the 2 big men it would be. Could have gone against McGinn as well. He's only got 1, so no foul trouble really up front for Woodstock Academy. 5:08 to go. Robinson can't hit the second, so a 6-point lead for Woodstock.
Big defensive stand here for New London.
Bourgeois lost it. Lake with the steal. Sawyer to the basket. It's a 4-point game.
Good decision by Lake. Get it to your best scorer. They got him trapped.
It's going to stay with Woodstock. And there are times we've heard that Woodstock is unpressable because of Chris Lowry's ball handling and passing ability? We're going to find out. They break it with their big men instead this time.
Extended man-to-man and a loud New London crowd.
Lowry left alone for 3. Kept alive by Converse.
Not a great decision by Lowry. His shooting from out there is not his best move, and they're going to get a shove on Metz, pushing Lowry. Not a great decision by Lowry, but what a great job by Converse, keeping that ball alive and giving Woodstock an extra opportunity. You're going to get Sawyer for that foul, not Metz.
Bonus coming, though, on the next foul that New London commits. Lowry, hounded by Metz. Peters, big 3.
He might look like he's a kid, but he plays like a big boy. That's a grown-up shot right there at the end of the game. That is what you call stepping into a 3. That's what good shooters do. Confidence. Trent Peters.
Great skip pass from Chris Lowry. 14 points in the game from Trent Peters. 4th three-pointer.
What I liked about that was not only was there no hesitation, but he stepped into the 3, squared up, confident. Nice job by Peters. He is now tied with Bourgeois as the leading scorer with 14 on the Woodstock end of things.
Leading scorer in the game is New London's Colin Sawyer. 15 first half points, but only 4 since halftime. 4 minutes to go. 4:02 to be exact. New London with the ball. Still very much in this one. They got it as low as 4 points. They've been down as many as 14. Here's Lake. Lowry on him.
They don't want Robinson there.
And a double dribble.
They're saying he had possession when he lost it, but New London's saying he never had possession. That's a big turnover right there. Coach Parker saying, I'm not quite sure I understand your reasoning in that call.
The outside official, Roger Warner, called it. Seemed very convinced of it. And another foul, and we'll see 1-and-1 here as Trent Peters was fouled by Seth Lake. And Peters, an excellent free throw shooter as well. The 2 guards for Woodstock, 76 and 77%. That is a great card to play in the 4th quarter, but he missed the front end.
That's why they were so successful last year at the end of games. Always want your guards to be able to shoot 3. And Lake!
It's a 4-point game. Bourgeois is pushed out of bounds. The New London crowd doesn't like it. That was right in front of us. That's a good call.
Listen, it doesn't mean it wasn't a hustle play. It doesn't mean it wasn't a good play. He went for the steal. He came up just short and bodies made contact. It's absolutely the right call.
Colin Sawyer charged with the foul. It'll put Bourgeois on the line, 68% on the season. Oh, halfway down and out the door. Very much open for the Whalers here.
Get it to Lake if you can. He's feeling it. Lake has to shoot this ball, if not Sawyer.
Into Robinson. Power moves.
Or,
put it in.
Or go into the big guy down low.
It's a 2-point game. Bourgeois, his 2nd offensive foul of the game, and it's Robinson with big-time plays on the block on both ends.
When Maynard fouled out, and he was the one that took the last charge on Bourgeois, when Maynard fouled out, Robinson came in. Another one that it's Bourgeois' 4th, and he only knows one way, which is hard to the basket. Great job by Robinson stepping in, getting his feet set, and taking that charge.
With 2:57 to go, Greg Smith still working the official on that call. But he's not going to take Bourgeois out here in crunch time. No way. Ball knocked away by McGinn. It'll be New London ball right in front of their bench.
They want to get it into Robinson, ideally for a kick out to either Sawyer or Lake. But Robinson also can score.
Here is Lake. Lowry hounding him. Doesn't want to give up the open look from 3. Metz. He'll shoot the 3. Tipped around. Sawyer the offensive rebound. No call, and it's going to stay with the Whalers.
Oh, New London wanted a foul on with Sawyer going up strong, but you go up strong and good things happen. That time tipped out of bounds. New London retains.
Under 2.5 minutes to go. Barner is shoved from behind. Looks like it'll be Converse. It is, so it is the 4th foul on Adam Converse. They've got 4 on Bourgeois as well. And a bonus situation here as Nick Barner will step to the line to shoot 1-1.
Barner not one of their best foul shooters. These are big ones. That's twice we've seen Barner with his own lane violation trying to follow up his miss. 2 times.
Full court pressure for New London. They've got the trap of Peters, but a blocking foul as Barner tried to stop Peters from escaping. So Peters will go to the line where we mentioned is a 77% free throw shooter, but moments ago, Casey, he missed the front end of a 1-1.
Yeah, and I don't know, the percentages say he's not going to miss another one, and that's a big one. What I love right now is that you've got the entire NFA team who's waiting to get on the floor and play in their own semifinal, riveted to this game, not just because they want to know who's going to win, but because they love basketball, and this is a great basketball game.
Oh, the Whalers lose a chance there. Barner couldn't control the rebound as it was heading out of bounds. I think they called him for a travel. In any event, he turns it over. Woodstock underneath. Lowry
great look.
Finds McGinn.
Now those 1-1s won't matter because the next foul on New London's going to put Woodstock in the double bonus, and they'll be shooting 2 as we've seen some uncharacteristic misses. And a bad pass from Metz.
McGinn tipped it. It was corralled by Lowry. 4-point lead, 2 minutes to go. Woodstock, the lead in the basketball. Here's Peters. He and Lowry, excellent free throw shooters.
They're just going to play a 2-man game right now if they can.
They're the only 2 who've touched it on this possession. It remains that way. And there, the foul out by midcourt, obviously given up by Seth Lake.
It's going to be a 2 shots now for Lowry
double
as
bonus.
They're in the double bonus. But from here, New London has to trade possessions. They've got to trade fouls so that they can get the ball back. If he makes both, it's a 2-possession game.
Lowry at the line. Ooh. So the double bonus helping here as Lowry will get another chance at it. 76% free throw shooter. He has taken and made more free throws this season than anybody on the Centaurs.
No one can, New London has no one to blame but for themselves. Woodstock is missing foul shots. They are turning it over. They're doing everything they can. They're 3 from 9. 3 for 9. 33% from the line is Woodstock down the stretch.
Trying to go in for Robinson. He saved it in. Barner can't score. Rebound.
Smallest guy. That's why
Trent Peters.
That's what we talked about in the opening, Mark. He's an athlete on top of it. Look at that hungry rebound.
Splitting the defenders was Lowry. It's a foul on Nabate Metz.
No one to blame but themselves is New London. They have had every opportunity. Woodstock is gritty, but they are not shooting it well from the line. They are turning it over. The Whalers just cannot overcome. There you see the NFA boys wondering who awaits the winner of their game.
Well, right now, Lowry struggling at the line. His last 2 free throws were both long back rim. This one, a little overcompensation, short to the front rim. And so is the next one. 4 straight free throws missed by Lowry. Nobody had Robinson in transition. Mets found him, and New London's back in 2, and they want a timeout to set up the press.
Oh, my. Talk about the unpredictability. If you had told me that Chris Lowry and Trent Peters would miss 6 consecutive foul shots down the stretch, I would have told you that's not possible. I think if they shot him left-handed, they wouldn't have missed 6 consecutive foul shots, and that's what has happened. 3 for 11 down the stretch from the 2 guards.
So there's 1:08 to go. New London, not that they've ever given up hope in this game, but maybe now for the first time really believing that they can steal this game after being down double digits for most of it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they steal it or if they can say it was gifted to them, because right now these 2 teams are playing a game of no, you win. No, really you win. Because neither is reaching out and taking this game, handing it back over. They're playing a game of hot potato with this thing.
And very strange given the championship pedigree of both of these teams. Whalers winning the ECC title last year, going through Woodstock to do it in the semifinals, looking to do it again. Woodstock disappointment here in the semifinal round a year ago, but going on to win the Class L state championship with many of these players playing key roles. 1:08 to go in semifinal number 1.
Best way to break a trap is to not let the trap happen. Try to hit one of the guards on the run where they don't even have to get into a trapping situation.
McGinn inbounds to Lowry. Here comes the trap. Gets it to Peters. Oh, dangerous pass from McGinn. Metz commits the foul on Peters. And that will be the 5th foul on New London starting point guard Nabate Metz.
Yeah, he almost stepped in time to force a travel, but instead the contact. Peters is going to shoot 2. He has missed the front end of his last 2 1-and-1s, but as you said before, Mark, he's an excellent foul shooter.
So does the pressure continue to mount, and will Woodstock continue to struggle at the free throw line?
Landon Peabody's going to check back into the ball game for New London. Tough spot for Peabody, the sophomore, coming in and having to run the point with a minute left in this tight ball game.
And Peters strokes that one. 15 points in the game.
I don't think New London should expect any more missed foul shots. They were given all the gifts they were going to get earlier on.
So Peters gets them both 16 points. That's the high number now for Woodstock. And they go back up by 4. Sawyer. And the ball was kicked by Bourgeois. And New London will have it on the side.
Sawyer and Lake are going to have to hit a 3 with a hand in their face. New London can't afford too many times going inside to Robinson. They're going to need a 3.
Long pass for Sawyer. Against Bourgeois, who's got 4 fouls. Just puts the hand up, and Sawyer cuts it to 2. He's got 21.
Oh!
And the foul on Lake as Peters tried to beat him up the sideline.
Wrong guy to foul that time. Let him break the press. Let them go. If you're New London, you just got to wait. Be patient. Trap. Let the guards break the trap with a pass. And as soon as it's out of Lake's hands or Lowry's hands, then you foul. But you can't foul these guards down the stretch.
And Peters has now hit 3 in a row.
So tempting to foul when you're in that trap situation. Let the trap. He's not going to break the trap. Once he picks up his dribble, let the pass go. Foul the big guy.
Missed the second. Barner the rebound. 3-point game. 40 seconds to go. New London can tie it with a 3. Lake. Fadeaway won't go. Lowry the rebound.
Good idea.
Lake's got 4 fouls. And the foul will be given up by Landon Peabody.
Yeah, it was a good idea by Lake, but the wrong shot. He went to the basket, but you have to look for a shooter at that point. Falling away isn't what you want to do.
So now we'll see if Lowry can find the stroke from the line. He can. It's not been his best game. Certainly he has distributed some great passes. He's in single digits in points. And he was part of the turnover problems in the first half anyway for Woodstock. He's got them both here in a 5-point lead.
They need a quick basket, do the Whalers. Not a lot of time here.
Here's Lake. Robinson trying to back his way down. Can't hit inside. Lowry comes out of the pack with it. And Sawyer gives up the foul at midcourt with 11.7 seconds left. 2 free throws coming for Chris Lowry.
2 pretty much ices it. 1, Whalers go on life support, but that miss right there and the rebound by Woodstock should do it, barring something truly ridiculous.
Lowry has the first. Can make it a 3-possession game here. And he does just that. So Woodstock Academy survived a little bit of a second half meltdown. Lake can't hit at the buzzer. And Woodstock Academy has avenged last year's semifinal loss at the hands of New London in the ECC tournament semifinals.
Great effort that time. Gutsy win by a veteran team in Woodstock.
So New London has been dethroned as ECC tournament champion. Their first loss to any ECC team this year. And it will be Woodstock Academy taking one step closer to what they hope is an ECC title. Greg Smith and his group having an outstanding first half, really first 3 quarters. And speaking of the Woodstock Academy Centaurs head coach, he right now is with Dave Edgecombe. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Coach, it wasn't pretty towards the end, but I'm going to assume that you learned something about your ball club tonight. What'd you learn?
That they're seniors and they know how to win ball games, and they've been doing it for the last 2 seasons. They're great kids on and off the court, and they figured out a way to get it done. That's what they do.
And Lowry was outstanding handling the ball down the stretch. You said it at the beginning, he's the best in the state. Yep. Do you think he proved it tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Every time he takes the floor, he does whatever's needed. You know, anybody less confidence wouldn't take the ball. I mean, he missed all those free throws, and he took the ball because he knew he was going to make the next one. That's just who he is. He's Chris Lowry. He's the best.
I know you're pretty worked up from this game, but can I get you to make a prediction for the next game, NFA Ledger? Who you got?
A great game.
We'll leave it at that?
And we'll leave it at that. They're both excellent teams, well coached. They're going to be great.
Coach, great win. Good luck in the finals.
Thank you very much.
Mark, Casey?
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Dave. Greg Smith and his victorious Woodstock Academy team, 62-55, the final and semifinal number 1 over the New London Whalers. NFA and Ledyard are still to come in just a few moments here on Game Day live on theday.com. We'll be back with that in just a few moments.
We can all talk about various cases that we've had, but one case we're particularly proud of is one where Matt Schaffner, one of my partners, represented a family who lost someone in the attacks of 9/11. Matt was very diligent and was able to help that family. We weren't compensated for that because we felt it was important to give back not only to that family, but to the community as well. The personal satisfaction of representing that family was immense. Overall, I think you'll find that the one word that describes Sussman Shapiro is dedicated. We are dedicated to our clients' causes. We're aggressive as needed, but at the end of the day, the client leaves here knowing that not only did we do a good job for them, but we also cared about them as an individual or as an institution.
At the MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner, our #1 goal has always been to earn your business for life. As one of the largest dealerships in Eastern Connecticut, selling Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, and Hyundai, we accomplish our goal by not just offering the best buying experience, but more importantly, the best service experience after the sale. That philosophy is what built this company from a single-bay service station nearly 45 years ago to who we are today. So experience the difference and let us earn your business for life. The MJ Sullivan Automotive Corner in New London or at mjsullivanauto.com.
Seth and Colin have been very, very good players for us the last 2 years. They both came here, transfer, I believe, from Stone High School as sophomores, and they came to New London last year, and they played on the ECC tournament championship team.
The magnet school offers a lot for the career I'd like to look into. I'm going into chemical engineering. That's what I wish to pursue in college.
You could take AP level courses a lot sooner, but they also had a much better basketball program, which interested me.
Me and Colin played together since 6th grade, and we've had a lot of chemistry. I mean, we both know how to shoot pretty well. And Colin's a great shooter, and I like to give him the ball, and he gives me a couple assists here and there.
I was definitely different at first. In the beginning, they didn't like how I just showed up and started, but eventually I earned my spot and they respected me. I had a long bus commute. It would take a while to get to school, and so it felt weird, like you felt like you weren't really a part of the town because you didn't live there. But after a while, everyone accepted you.
There's definitely higher expectations here. They expect winning. The fans expect you to win, and you have to live up to that. Otherwise, it's not Whaler tradition.
When Chris's older brother Brian played for us, I was the assistant coach at the time, and Chris was this little 7-year-old that would go out every time there was a timeout. He'd go out on the floor and shoot. At halftime, he'd go out and shoot. Before the game, he'd be shooting. After the game, he'd be shooting. He'd be sitting on my daughter's lap in the stands, cheering his brother on.
I'm from Union, only 700 kids there. I didn't even go to their middle school because there were only 70 people for kindergarten through 8th grade. So I kind of had to do everything myself. I just dribbling the ball in the house, everywhere I go, upstairs, downstairs, go out into the driveway and shoot for hours. I remember going out to my driveway at 1 in the morning and just shooting baskets until my neighbors had to come over and tell me to stop playing.
When he came here as a freshman, we were so excited to have him and knew that this was something very, very special. And he hasn't disappointed. He is the best point guard in the state of Connecticut, bar none. And I know I'm not making friends with even people in the ECC when I say that, but I defy anybody to give me anybody better, anybody that can control a game like Chris Lowry can. We went to Springfield and played Putnam Votech from Springfield, Massachusetts, best team in Massachusetts. And they're designed their defense to make Chris Lowry turn the ball over, and they couldn't do it. He only had 3 turnovers in that game. Last game he had 16 assists and 1 turnover. That's unbelievable. And he could score if he wanted to. He doesn't want to. He wants to make the players around him better. Now, I'll tell this story about a team player for the rest of my coaching career. I told him after his sophomore year that he needed this many points. He needed to average about this many points to break the school scoring record. And he said, "Coach, I don't care. I don't care about that. I want to win. I just want to put W's up. I want to hang banners up." That's Chris Lowry. He just wants to do whatever's going to make the team better.
Since I've been little, I've played basketball since I was like 1 year old. Just growing up and watching it, I've always wanted to do it and someday play for his team, just like all the other players. There's pictures of me when I was 1. I had a cast on my foot, but I was still dribbling the ball and shooting on a little Fisher-Price hoop. I've been on the bench since I was around 9 years old. Back in like 2005, when Kareem played, I was a really good team when they won the state championship.
It's definitely an advantage for him. He knows our routine. That's why he's one of the captains as a junior this year. He knows my expectations. Yeah, he's used to the program. He's been around it for many, many years.
At practice and games, I call him coach, and at home, I call him dad. And at home, it's a little more laid back. It's pretty tough at me at practice.
I tend to treat CJ the same as I treat all the other players on the team. When the game starts, I don't see it as a father-son relationship, or in practice as a father-son relationship. I mean, his mother might say that I ride him more than other players.
I've learned a lot from him over the years, and after every game, he remembers certain plays and talks about them, tells me like what went wrong, how it can change a game. So I've learned what not to do, and also he points out positives, and I've just brought it all in since I was little.
At the end of the day, you always have that pride as a parent when your son is playing well, you know, doing things well, whether it's in the classroom or on the basketball court.
Going into the